Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Motive. There we go, we are live here at Oschersleben for this evening's Tier 1 races. If you did miss out on the Tier 2, that will be uploaded shortly where you can watch what happened there. We are going to try and get our Tier 2 race winner in the commentary booth now, so we can have a chat to him about how the race went for him, and we can watch these boys in the qualifying for their sprint race this evening. We're glad to have you along here on the stream. Feel free to comment any questions or queries about Motive, and I'll get back to you when I can. Currently just watching there, G spinning unfortunately in the first corner. That is not going to be a good lap to start for him. He's going to have to get around once more. We do know G has been doing a lot of practice for this evening's race, and has definitely been showing his pace, doing 1 minute 38 laps in the dry. So he'll definitely be looking towards getting around a 140 in the wet. Obviously getting out earlier in this qualifying session will help him massively, being able to use up most of this wet also. And we do have our Tier 2 race winner this evening in the commentary booth. How are you, Nathan?
Thank you.
Can I just check your audio is set to sharing, mate, before we have a little chat?
I will quickly check it for you.
Yeah, just go in the party and then see if it's set to share. But yeah, we are just watching G now on one of his first flying laps. We do have 4 viewers. Thank you for joining us at the moment, guys. Obviously we are running a little bit late due to some technical issues. Trying to get Andy logged out of the YouTube account and then getting me back in. But
there you go.
There we go.
Shared.
We are here, guys, with our Tier 2 race winner. How was that race for you? Obviously 25 minutes, a mandatory pit stop. What was your plan from the start, mate?
It's at first I wanted to go in and just straight go for the win off the line, you know, and try and just drive hard and not really think about it. And I had a moment to think. I thought, you know what, let's play this tactically. I know some of the lads out there, they're very, very fast. You know, the Pro Hero, for example, and a few others. You know, I'm fairly used to racing, so especially league racing itself. So yeah, I decided to go with a tactical approach, and obviously it paid off, and I couldn't be any happier.
Yeah, I did notice. Obviously I chose the same sort of tactic as you. Unfortunately I had a couple of mistakes on the second lap. Went for an early pit stop, and you were gone in the distance, just chasing those boys down, overtaking them once they were in the pits, and obviously the tactic managed to work for you.
That's it. I just managed to keep my cool, keep it held together, and I don't think I had any incidents. I managed to keep it clean the whole race.
Yeah, so obviously we're watching the Tier 1 guys qualifying at the moment. Who have you got your eyes on for the sprint race?
Definitely only G. Only G's probably one of the faster lads out there, if not the fastest lad out there. I mean, he's got pretty good talent behind the wheel of the GT5. I mean, anything, to be honest. If we chuck him in a V8 supercar, he'll rings around anyone. So I definitely say I think G's swimming money is at the moment, especially after last week's results as well. You know, coming all the way from back in the feature race. Yeah, he's a very, very good driver.
Yeah, like you said, we do know he's put a lot of practice into this evening's proceedings, but at the moment we do have ALTEL slipstreaming his teammate RDJ in the middle sector, I think that is at the moment, the triple left, it is. But yeah, well done tonight, mate. Obviously being with teammate, I think a double win so far this season. We're looking on to good things. Yep,
definitely. I can't wait to see what comes next at Oldham Park.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, mate. We hope you stay around to watch the stream, and well done again this evening.
Yep, thank you.
We have the Tier 2 race winner in the commentary booth with us. A brilliant performance again from him, not only being my teammate but also his tactics worked well, taking an early pit stop again and managing to catch those boys in fresh air out on track. ALTEL just spinning there, coming towards the end of a flying lap. So he's moved down to 6 now. On pole we do have now the only G, obviously showing his pace in the start of the season. Just looking at the comments. J Palm, glad to have you here, mate. Good luck this evening. This track requires skill. Yes, mate, I did race in the tier 2 like I said just, and it's very easy to make mistakes and run wide even in these little cars. I finished mid-pack, which after the mistakes I made at the start I was quite pleased with. Hey, hooray, it is on. Is it still on at 8 PM usually? Yes, mate, unfortunately Andy obviously streamed the tier 2 and I wasn't logged into the YouTube after my race, and I did have to give him a ring and ask for him to log out so I could log in. So yeah, we're sorry about that delay, but usually invites are out before 8 PM, and it just depends on when the tier 2 race finishes so we can get everyone over and into the tier 1 race. But we are trying to get these boys out for 8 PM. But we do have a full grid, and these boys are definitely looking forward to heading down to that first corner for the sprint race. So we've got second at the moment, Ollie Moore. Unfortunately his teammate has left him for this season. His teammate says he's on to better things after finding out Ollie Moore has joined a couple of other championships. Obviously Ollie Moore wanting to get his name out there and into different championships at the moment, so Morgan wanting to focus on the GT5s is asked to leave his teammates, so both of them running solo at the moment. Motoring Morgan in third, coming towards the end of a flying lap. That puddle there can create a lot of mistakes coming through the chicane into the second to last corner now. Looks like he's on for a good lap, Morgan, into the last corner. The braking zone there, we do see a puddle, and it does look like it's beginning to dry up towards the end of this qualifying session. 1.5 minutes to go as Morgan comes across the line. 1.1 off the pace at the moment. Does he improve? And no, he doesn't. So Morgan's sitting 5th. Tal I think's just gone faster behind him. Yes, it was Tal. He's up to 4th now, so let's look further down the grid. We've got Pro Fubby in 6th at the moment. A 1:44 for him. Obviously these times will be looking to be decreased as the track dries up with only a minute to go. And if you are just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, you're here at Motive Racing for this evening's Tier 1 races here at Oschersleben. We are watching the GT5 Championship. Thank you for joining us, guys. We are only a minute away from the end of this qualifying session. You're on board with Pro Fubby as he comes around the last corner on a flying lap, trying to get that power down as quick as he can onto the finishing straight now. Currently it's at 7th, 1.7 off the pace at the moment. He's going to come across the line. Is he going to improve? And unfortunately he doesn't, so he's going to be able to go one more time. We're going to jump on board with Pro Fubby to see from his perspective what he's seeing now, whether there is puddles still out on track. There we go, in the second corner there. He nearly loses it, so there's still puddles out there, ladies and gentlemen. He will not be able to use slicks at the moment, as we see the shine there coming out of the third corner, down the long straight. And this, like I said, is going to be the penultimate lap of qualifying for the sprint race here at Motive Racing. And these triple lefts now, there is usually a puddle in the middle, and we don't know if it's down there. It is. You see the shine. A lot of drivers can get thrown off track from that as you are sliding round. So the qualifying session's now over as we're watching Falgast in the Sector 2 go through the chicane. Very hard to get right that chicane, but once you get it right you can make up a lot of time. Onto the back straight he goes now. Doesn't look like he's got any cars around him to cause any trouble, so this is going to be a fast lap from Pro Fubby at the moment. Into the last chicane, he cut it a little bit but he managed to keep it straight. The puddle's still there though on the left hander, and into the second to last corner. It looks like he's got that right, but on the braking, as we see there, the puddle's still there. Takes a wider line, gets the power on quickly out of the last corner. Pro Fubby, a lap on board that was, ladies and gentlemen, of this evening's track here at Oschersleben in the Ginetta GT5s as he comes across the line and he goes pole. Pro Fubby, absolutely brilliant performance there from our provisional pole sitter at the moment to finish from 7th up to pole position, a 1:42.6. ladies and gentlemen, that shows the practice he's been putting in. And the only G goes pole now. So these pro boys, obviously, a lot of practice has been put in. And comment out, no worries, thanks. Didn't know how to check. Why do the other three not have a time? I'm not quite sure what you're on about there with the why do the other three not have a time. The tier 2 start at 7 PM and obviously the tier 1 start at 8 PM. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, our qualifying finishes for our sprint race this evening. Only 10 minutes on pole. We do have the only G 1 second in front of anyone at the moment, 1:41.6, an absolutely brilliant lap there. In second, Pro Fubby, Motory Morgan in third, Falguest in fourth, AL Tal in fifth, RDJ sixth, Sebastefano in seventh, Pro Andy in 8th, Pro Smithy in 9th, Ollie Marr in 10th, Kurt Hodgson in 12th, Pro Alpha, Kurt Hodgson in 11th, sorry, Pro Alpha in 12th, and I'll carry that on once we are out on track. Now there we go. So in 12th, like I said, we've got Pro Alpha, 13th Girino, 14th we've got Malik, 15th Grandad Stee, and bringing up the rear of the field, John Boy. So this is going to be an out and out 20-minute race, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to leave a comment who you think is going to take this one. Is the only G and Pro Fubby going to be able to get away from the line, possibly have a scrap towards the end, a little battle? But being on the same team, those boys will not wanting to be having crashes. They want to get away, get that gap, and we are going to see a brilliant race, ladies and gentlemen. Please stick around, leave a like and a comment, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. We are going to be live tomorrow from 5 PM with JR Lock and Load, our commentator for the GT5s and lead coordinator. The GT5s do have two tiers, pardon me, sorry. The GT5s do have GT3, sorry, do have 2 tiers. So a lot of drivers out on track tomorrow, and then after that at 7 PM we have the LMP2s back out on track after we saw some brilliant racing from them last week. So all the drivers just putting their setups in now. I thought a few people didn't set a lap time. Yeah, it could be tactically, to be honest, mate. I tried to do it in tier 2 where I went out for about 5 minutes with wet tyres on, and then changed my setup to softs, dropped a bit of fuel, tried to go out again, but I just didn't have time to get round and start a flying lap. But yeah, fair play to those boys. Obviously they managed to get it tactically to work. So ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get underway. The lights are about to go green here at Oschersleben. Our drivers hit the throttle, they're underway, and it looks like Pro Fubby got the better start of our 2 leaders. So we are on board with Pro Fubby as he heads down to the first corner. The only G on the inside though, but remember this is a chicane and then a hairpin, so Pro Fubby's going to be on the inside for the rest of this. If they do go too wide, Pro Fubby pulls around, and everyone looks to have made it around there. All 16 drivers very safe. This is tier 1, ladies and gentlemen, so the only G leads us around the hairpin for the first time this evening. We are racing, ladies and gentlemen, here at Oschersleben, and into sector 2 we go now, ladies and gentlemen. The only G, as I said, leading the way. Further down the field we do have a lot of battles going on. It did look like H2 Malik just runs a little bit wide coming out of the hairpin, and we're going too wide into the triple lefts now. And further down, Pro Andy doesn't look to have had the best start there. Obviously he was commentating the tier 2, so he does know the track conditions and where's best to overtake. Andy back on track for this season, and did take a win in the Clios earlier this week. If you did miss that, ladies and gentlemen, it was a brilliant race. And it did come down to the last lap to see who would take the win, a 3-car battle, and he might be going up the inside there of Falguest. Falguest also changed his and someone's off there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know who that was. John Boy's off as well. AL Tal involved in that, and H2 Malik, so not the best start for those boys. 18 minutes to go. And as I was saying there, Falgast has joined a couple of other championships, so he's also wanting to get his name out there as well as Ollie Moore this evening. And we're glad to have them pair along here. Someone just goes up the inside trying to get any track position they can. It's all about these opening stages. People running wide there, so Falgast maybe not had the most amount of practice for this evening, obviously racing in different championships. AL telling the pits now, maybe got some damage from that incident on the first lap, hoping to come back, but back up at the front. But it is all about this pro team at the moment. The only G leading the way. In second we've got Pro Fubby, and then behind we've got Pro Alpha. A brilliant start from Pro Alpha. Obviously didn't start in the top 5, but he's managed to make up those positions. Behind him he's got Motoring Morgan. Last season he came second in the Clio Cup, so he's got a lot of pace in these little Ginettas. I can't remember it. I think he did win the Ginettas last season. I'm going to check that for you now, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want Motoring Morgan to not get the credit he deserves in these little Ginettas. And there we go, we're about to come to the end of lap 2 here at Oschersleben. Motoring Morgan, as we watch him all over the back of Pro Alpha. He's going to go up the inside now into the second to last corner. Absolutely phenomenal racing from these pair. Pro Alpha can't carry that speed as he has to give the position up to Motoring Morgan now as they are about to come across the line to start lap 3. Let's jump on board with Pro Alpha and see what he's seeing in front of him. Obviously he has got Motoring Morgan there, and in the distance Pro Alpha. Behind him now 2 seconds RDJ, 1.3 sorry ladies and gentlemen. Does look like Pro Alpha is losing a little bit of time now to Motoring Morgan, as he's just going off in the distance. 1.1 out in front now, so Motoring Morgan might be able to catch up to Pro Fubby. Pro Fubby's got off, ladies and gentlemen. Our driver in second position has gone off, so he's going to drop down a few positions now. He's going to return to track safely, possibly down to 9th position, so not very good there. He has got 15 minutes though to get back up there. And he's down to 9, so he's not going to be very pleased with that. Obviously just one little mistake there. He did touch the outside curb and it threw him off. So our race leader is about to start lap 4 here at Oschersleben in the sprint race. He is nearly 5 seconds in front of anyone. We did see this dominance last week from the Only G. Absolutely brilliant performance as usual, showing these boys how it's done. The Only G, we do know throughout Motive, he helps a lot as a head admin, but also holds a lot of world records on this game, especially in the V8 supercars at most tracks on the game. So he does know this game well. Let's look further down the pack. RDJ battling it out now with Pro Alpha, that is. So Pro Alpha might have made a mistake there in the last sector, enabled RDJ to catch up. And there we go, RDJ goes off exactly the same as Pro Fubby. So everybody else is having issues with that curb on the outside of that triple left-hander. RDJ also comes on safely, so he's going to be behind Girino now as he's through the middle sector. We've got a 4-car battle going on. Let's drop down a few positions and watch it on board. So there we see RDJ going defensive into the chicane. Sebastefano comes back across. We're all back on the racing line now into the chicane on the brakes as we turn right. Then we're going to turn left into the last couple of corners. Now, is anyone going to try anything into the first corner? So as we go into the first corner, ladies and gentlemen, Girino leads the way in this battle, and he's run a little bit wide. It enables RDJ to go up the inside. Is it going to enable Sebastefano as well? And maybe Profubby. Profubby also gets through there. Is he going to get past Sebastefano? Sebastefano is going to be on the inside now for the next hairpin. There we go. We are 3 wide, ladies and gentlemen. And a slight touch there from Girino, I think that was. It was, yeah. So unfortunately, Sebastefano, just a little touch. And it obviously Sebastefano isn't going to be happy with that. He did get promoted from last season up to Tier 1. We have also got Grandad Stee in the pits at the moment, so he might have got a bit of damage. Or maybe not put him enough fuel in. But back up at the front, the only G leading the way, 6 seconds out in front of Motory Morgan now. Having an absolutely brilliant performance, these boys. Per Alpha in third, trying to hunt down Motoring Morgan. RDJ side by side with Ollie Marr as they come through the chicane. Ollie Marr just running wide there through the chicane, so he might be having the same problems as Falguest here. Obviously, like I said before, these boys with new tactics to sim racing, wanting to get the name out there and maybe win more prizes, but it has also enabled them to be able to not do as much practice, and shown there RDJ brilliant overtake on Ollie Marr through the middle sector as Ollie runs wide as they start lap 6 here at Motive Racing. You are watching the sprint race. If you have just joined us, feel free to leave a like and a comment, and if you'd like to get involved, I will put a link to the Discord server in the comments now, ladies and gentlemen. It does look like we've got a battle going on in further down the field. As someone runs over the cameraman there, someone else span out. And it does look like it was John Boy then, on the grass out of the third corner. And someone's ran wide. It did look like it was Malik there, who also ran wide. And comment there, J Palm, these GT5s don't like curbs. No, definitely not, mate. It might have looked like someone's just span off there just in front, or they were sliding into the chicane. Profubby unfortunately not managed to catch up to anyone at the moment. Down in 9th, obviously span out after touching the curb. As we heard there, J Palm doesn't like, says these cars doesn't like curbs, and Profubby's definitely going to agree with that one. He touched the curb, was sat in 2nd, and it span him off, and he's down to 9th now. So it's definitely something to remember for the feature race. As they come across the line, Profubby, as we're watching, down in 9th, as I said, we're going to jump up a bit. RDJ obviously made that overtake on Ollie, and up to the top 5 now, RDJ, so he's having a brilliant race here at Oschersleben. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, there is a back with our race leader on lap 7, cruising round into the middle sector, the only G. Let's have a look at the timing sheet at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. A 1:38 fastest lap from the only G. Absolutely flying at the moment. And we have got a couple of battles going on here. Girino catching up to Ollie Marr into the last couple of corners. There you go. Just behind there, it does look like Sebastefano coming under a bit of pressure now from Profubby. Profubby's managed to catch up, possibly try and get past him on the next lap, and be able to join in this battle with Girino and Ollie. And Ollie Moore still coming under pressure from Ginetta on lap 8 of this sprint race here at Motive Racing, ladies and gentlemen. Like I say, feel free to leave a comment and I will respond to you when I can. 7 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. Further down the field, it does look like Falgas trying to getting overtaken, sorry, by John Boy there. Falgas down in 14th, so you won't be too pleased with that at the moment. So we've still got this battle going on. It's the only battle that's really going on at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, between these three cars. Unfortunately, these cars are all spaced out. So it's RDJ leading the way in that blue car. Just behind him, Ollie Moore, and then Ginetta at the back of this battle. Let's jump on board with Ginetta and see from his perspective what is happening. Obviously, unfortunately, Ollie Moore, a couple of mistakes this season, coming back on track and not too consistent, so we're hoping if there is any overtakes made at the moment, they will be clean from any of these boys. Obviously this is tier 1, so this is the highest spec of racing we ever have at Motive. So Rob runs wide there, manages to get back on track. Absolutely brilliant driving there to save that. As I said, it is tier 1. Rob was fully sideways there and he managed to save it and get back on track without hitting anyone. Didn't lose or make any time, so obviously track limits off for this race due to the curbs not being forgiving and not enabling you to touch the curbs here at this track. As we are watching Ginetta get the run there on Ollie into the inside through the chicane, and Ollie loses another spot here at Motive Racing in the sprint race. Absolutely brilliant overtake from Ginetta into the last sector, and he is going to start lap 10 in 6th position. So let's have a look on the YouTube and see if there is any comments. Like I said, guys, feel free to join our Discord server as Ollie Moore goes back up the inside of Ginetta into turn 1. Back up the inside of Ginetta. Comment there from Jack Osborne, doing a great job, Badger. Keep up the good work. Cheers, mate. Obviously, always trying to improve Motive Racing. One of the best leagues there is out there now. Obviously, we've only been going for about 10 weeks at the moment, and we've got over 200 drivers. As we're watching some brilliant racing here from these pair. Ginetta now back up the inside a lap later. These two are having an awesome battle with 3.5 minutes to go. But as I was saying, Motive Racing, if you do like what you see, ladies and gentlemen, join our Discord server, get signed up, and you can possibly be on the grid here for next week and have some brilliant racing. So we've got Pro Hero in the comments. Obviously, if you did watch tier 2, unfortunately, as I came round turn 1, he was facing me for turn 1 of the race. If you did miss that, obviously go onto the channel, guys, have a watch of that, and you can watch that from our commentator Andy's and Ravenmeister's perspective. It was a brilliant race, but yeah. So Hero, if you'd like to join me in the commentating booth for race 2, obviously you were meant to be here for race 1, but you said you went and had some food. I'm fine with that, mate, if you want to join, and we can have a chat about your perspective from race 1, learn a bit more about your racing history. Obviously you've been into it for a long time, and yeah, definitely if you're up for it, mate, we can get you in here As we're still watching this 3-car battle, RDJ unable to get away from these 2 cars behind him. They have been battling the whole race. Nearly less than 2 minutes to go now into sector 2 and around that long hairpin. Let's jump on board with our driver at the back of this battle. Ollie Moore, maybe just happy to sit there at the moment, hoping that one of these cars makes a mistake and he can get an attack from that. But RDJ looking very comfortable at the moment, goes defensive up to the chicane, hoping no one gets the run on him. He comes back on the race line, hard on the brakes. A little touch there from Ollie Moore, but no mistakes made from Girino. RDJ still going defensive. Ollie trying to not make any mistakes. RDJ runs wide there in the second to last corner, but as we say, he didn't make up any time. Ollie just touching the rear bumper of Girino, wanting to know if Girino's wanting Girino to know he's putting a lot of pressure on him. This is an absolutely brilliant battle to watch, ladies and gentlemen. It does look like we're in for a treat for race 2, so stay around. We have got only a minute to go for this one, as these cars go through the 3rd corner, down the long straight into the hairpin and onto sector 2 of their, I think it will be their second to last lap. So let's get up the track map and see where our race leader is. And he's in sector 2 at the moment, coming through that chicane. So I think this will be the last lap here for the sprint race, round 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the only G, absolutely brilliant race. He does look like he's made a mistake though. Unfortunately, we didn't catch that on the stream. Motory Morgan's caught right up to him, 2.5 seconds split between those pair. So we are going to try and get these pair in the commentating booth during the qualifying session of the feature race. As I say many times a stream here, and there is a rule here at Motive that if you do finish in the top 5 of the sprint race, you will not be able to qualify. But as we see, the only G coming around the last corner, absolutely phenomenal performance in the sprint race again, is going to take the victory here in the Tier 1 Motive Racing GT5 Championship at Oschersleben. 2.5 seconds in front of Motory Morgan. In 3rd, Pro Alpha, an absolutely brilliant performance, came from the mid-pack to take a podium finish. Kurt Hodgson in 4th. This battle going on still for 4th and 5th position, sorry. RDJ comes better off, but Ollie Moore manages to get past Girino as they cross the line, 6th and 7th. Pro Andy comes across with 8th, and unfortunately Pro Fubby's going to come across with 9th after that mistake halfway through the race. Just touched the curb, it span him off, and he hasn't been able to catch up since, but very consistent driving since then, so he's definitely going to learn from that mistake. Seba Stefano with a lot of damage coming around the last corner in 10th position. Behind him he has got Pro Smithy, and then H2 Malik coming across the line in 12th as he comes towards the last corner now. Falgas going to come across the line as he's all over the show. It looks like he wants to cut the grass. He's going to come across the line in 13th, and he's in the wall, so not the best drive from Falgas here at Motive Racing. And he's going to come across the line in 13th. We are very proud to have a full grid of cars this evening again, ladies and gentlemen. John Boy, and he's span in the last sector, so he's not going to be very pleased with that one. He is going to try and maybe make a few changes to his setup before the qualifying session and the race for the feature, as he comes across the line in 14th. 15th was Grandad Steve. He did get lapped and has already crossed the line. ALTEL, I think he's also crossed the line, and he has done so. He crossed the line, he's going into turn 1. So an absolutely brilliant performance from our drivers, ladies and gentlemen. Please stay tuned, we are about to get underway for the qualifying session. So there's your results, ladies and gentlemen. The only G wins this sprint race here at Motive Racing. He takes the fastest lap as well, a 1:38.4, absolutely flying. Nearly 3 seconds behind in Motoring Morgan. Then we've got Pro Alpha rounding up the podium. In 4th, Kurt Hodgson. RDJ won that battle we were watching throughout the race between him, Ollie Moore and Girino. In 8th, and Pro Andy. In 9th, we've got Pro Fubby, as I said, unfortunately made that mistake halfway through the race and just hasn't been able to come back from it. And I can't read out the rest of the results, sorry about that guys, but I'll try and get the rest of the drivers in the grid, the top 3 drivers into the commentating booth shortly, and we can hear from their perspective what it was like. Obviously Alpha starting mid-pack, and he managed to build his way through and get on that podium, so our commentator for the Tier 2 race is in the comment section. Glad to have you here. I think it is you, but apparently is a fan of Pro Hero. So we've got a fan base here at Motive Racing. Absolutely brilliant to see these guys commenting. We have got 13 viewers, guys. So in between the next race, can we try and get as many likes on the stream as possible? Like I say, feel free to leave a comment. I am going to get these boys in the commentating booth shortly, and we will have some questions to ask them. Feel free to drop some down below, and I'll ask them what needs to be asked from you guys. If Pro Hero would like to come in the commentator booth, I will get him in now, and he can join us. Let me just give. Welcome to the commentating booth.
Thank you very much.
Alright there, let me just change headsets. Unfortunately this one does echo, so I'm going to have to change it. So if you become a broadcaster this evening, Hero, and then we can get you on the cameras, getting trackside on the cameras, and then once we're in, we can hear your perspective of the Tier 2 race, how things went for you. I don't think that'll work, you know. We're about to get going, mate. I can share player, I think that might work. Or it'll be alright on your wheel, I think. Yeah, you can plug it. You can plug it back in. You can plug it back in. It'll still recognise it. Yeah, I don't know if you heard. Then you do have a fan in the comment section this evening. So yeah. I don't think Is your audio set to share, mate? Because it doesn't look like it. So yeah, we're just trying to sort the audio, guys. We are about to get underway for this qualifying session for the feature race. I'm going to try and get our top 3 in the commentating booth, have a chat with them, and see how that sprint race went for them. Obviously, a lot of action, and yeah, that's fine, mate. There we go. Let me just check it now. Say a few words, mate. Let me just check it. It doesn't look like your audio is being shared, mate. If you go in the party, is it saying audio? Share audio.
Things allow for current party or always allow. How about that?
I've just got always allow. Yeah, let's see now. Welcome to the commentator booth at our sprint race winner this evening, the only G.
Thank you.
So how was that race from the start? Obviously qualified on the front row and just managed to get away. I did see that gap between you and Motoring Morgan come down towards the end. Unfortunately, I was watching a battle in the mid-pack and didn't manage to see what happened.
Yeah, no, I think it was the first corner. I spun it a couple of times. I mean, Morgan had great pace anyways. Yeah, just made a few mistakes. It's going to be interesting now for the feature.
Yeah, we have got Pro Hero's audio now sharing, so if you've got any questions for him, Hero, fire them away.
How do you keep it so consistent? I can't manage it myself. Week in, week out, sterling performances seems to be the man to beat in this competition. I don't know how you feel about that. You like that title?
I just wave my magic wand, and it works.
I love it's on mass production. I wouldn't mind picking one of them up myself.
So obviously you are going to start at the back with the other top 5. What's your plan for this one? Obviously turn 1's going to be a bit hectic, or you're going to just sit back a bit and hope a slight collision in front of you and you just go through, or you're going to go on the offensive from the start trying to get through the pack?
I mean, my starts aren't that great, so I'm probably just going to let everyone battle and then probably just make my way through.
Yeah, well done, the OG. Obviously we'll let you get going now. There's only 6 minutes left of this qualifying session. Let you put your setup in, and good luck out on track.
Thank you.
Alright, let's jump on board. If you press L1 you should be able to change the drivers, mate, and then scroll down.
Right. It's not letting me with this current control. Let me just turn it off and on. See if that's making any difference.
You might have to plug your wheel back in. If it's assigned to your wheel already, then that's Project Cars is a mess. But yeah, we did have there in the commentating booth, guys, our sprint race winner. Obviously last week took the sprint and the feature race win, so we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on him throughout the feature race this evening. We are seeing the first 3 laps coming in now on the timing sheet there on your left. A 1:39 coming in from Seba Stefano. One of the pros puts it on provisional pole at the moment. We have got a new commentator in the box this evening, guys, so just bear with us. He is.
I'm having a bit of a nightmare with my technical things here, buddy.
Yeah, unfortunately we've lost a few staff members here at Motive, but we have got a lot of people here to help us become one of the best leagues. As I said earlier, we've only been going 10 weeks and we're glad to be having a lot of viewers and subscribers here on the stream, so drop a like and a subscribe if you are new, guys. Head over to the Discord if you'd like to be on the grid and possibly racing next week.
On a G29, which would be your L1 and R1?
Just press buttons. That's the only thing
I'm
I'd say.
pressing as many buttons as I can.
Let me.
Pedals.
Oh no, it's your shifters, mate. It's your shifters. It is for me. So press your left shifter, and that should highlight your driver's
no
list.
movement whatsoever, buddy. No
Is it
movement
plugged in?
whatsoever. It's plugged in and all calibrated, ready to go. We're not going to lose all pictures, are we? Because it's me.
Is it? Have you got feeling in the wheel arc?
Yeah. Feelings in the wheel.
Let me just.
Odd.
I'm gonna have a Google what L1 on a G29 is.
I think it's got something to do with the fact that it's not assigned from my login as to why I can't get it on, which would mean me having to sign out, unfortunately. Have you got run of the director's booth?
I'm broadcasting.
There we go. Right.
Yeah. So there we go.
Pictures, guys.
There we go, guys. Sorry about
the
that.
technical issues.
But there we go. We have got, like I said, a new commentator. We're always happy to have new commentators here at Motive, guys. If you would like to become one, head over to the Discord. There is a form where you can sign up. We're watching now Seba Stefano coming through in the middle sector into the chicanes. Currently sat second, only 3/10 off the pace. As we saw there, another pro sitting second now. He's managed to move up the grid. But let's have a chat about your race. Obviously, I came around the first corner and you were backwards. So how was it for you? Obviously, I think you qualified third or fourth, was it, mate?
Yeah, it was a close qualifying session. There was a few drivers all vying the top spot. I think Gypsy George put in a blinding lap last minute and was sat on pole until a couple of drivers late on managed to nip in and take the top few spots. Started second, which I'm quite happy to, inside line, and we got a good start, and unfortunately managed to find myself facing the wrong way as of the second corner, which did compromise my race a little bit, but it was certainly an interesting first corner choice.
Yeah,
for everyone, because it's such a difficult place to overtake as it is. So I think so many cars being bunched up, never gonna go well.
Yeah, you're right, mate. It's a very tight first corner, especially with like we've got here 16 cars. We did see in the first race though, everyone managed to get around safely, and hopefully we'll see the same for the feature race. As the only G said, he's just going to sit back, and I had that plan into the first corner. Obviously qualifying mid-pack, I braked early, saw you were backwards, went around you, and then I think on the fourth corner a couple of cars managed to spin and managed to get around them, and I was up to third by the end of the last lap, and second corner got T-boned by you after I spun.
Yeah, that was a good one. The last thing I remember was seeing a big streak of green across my screen doing some barrel rolls, which was certainly a first for me.
Yeah, well, those curbs are deadly. As we saw in the sprint race, Pro Fulvio was sat second for half the race, and the curb just spat him off, exactly the same as happened to me.
It's so unfortunate. You never know with these cars when it's going to step out.
Yeah, like we know, us as friends and a group, we've been putting a lot of practice in, and it all comes down to those race lines and knowing when to put the power on and off, which will make the difference. And we're noticing it now. A lot of people within tenths of a second. We've got 6 drivers within, well, 7, sorry, within a second. Top 7 all within a second at the moment. So
extremely close. Extremely close. Like you say, it's anyone's guess who's going to go for the second race win, because I think even for the faster guys at the starting at the back, they're going to have a tough time trying to find somewhere to overtake going into anywhere on the track at the moment, because the pace is so tight.
Yeah, so at the bottom on the left hand, if you press R1 at the bottom, it should say timings, I think.
Yep.
On the left hand side, click that, and then that'll show us the top. There we go. At the moment, we've only got a few seconds to go. We have got Jurinos that provisional pole within less than 1/10 is Pro Fulvio, then in third Pro Andy. So we'll have to keep an eye on. With I think 30 seconds to go. Let's jump back trackside with someone and see who is on their last lap. So yeah, we have finished this qualifying session. Pro Fulvio crosses the line. and is in second, I think, at the moment. He is, yes. He might be on the last lap. I think he will be with that sort of pace he's carrying at the moment. Someone spun off there. It might be Smithy, I think. I think he's running that paint.
Let's just flip to Seb, who's coming around the final corner now. Let's see what he's managing to put in.
Currently sat 4th, 3 tenths off the pace at the moment. So he stays 4th, yeah. A lot of these drivers with quick times, 139s, 140s, are very respectable, aren't they?
Very much so, very much so. A little bit loose there. Grandad Steve kept it on the track.
Yeah, very consistent, Grandad Steve. Sometimes we did see though in the Clios he was battling up at the front in the feature race earlier on in the week, so he might be wanting to do the same. Currently sat 9th, 1.5 seconds off the pace. He comes out of the last corner sliding. Has that made a little bit of mistake? He stays in 9th as he comes across the line to finish this feature race. We are on board now. Pro Fubby into the last chicane, sliding. Oh no, sorry, into the last corner he's going to go now.
He's on the limit. He's giving it. He's giving it everything. Look at that sideways. It's good stuff.
Across the line. I think he's our only driver out. Oh,
he does improve.
He improved by, I think it was 1 millisecond then.
Yep.
So there we go, our results for the feature race, ladies and gentlemen. Girino sits on pole, Pro Fubby behind, Pro Andy in 3rd, Sebastefano in 4th, Olimar in 5th, Airtel 6th, Pro Smithy in 7th, Falgas 10th, Grandad Steve in 9th, John Boy in 10th, Malik in 11th, Kurt Hodgson unfortunately unable to qualify, as well as the bottom 5. So I mean, that was a brilliant qualifying session. Unfortunately, we did hear reports that Olimar was doing 135s in practices, and maybe a couple of mistakes there in the dry conditions. He just didn't look like the setup was right for him.
Yeah, like you say, it's a tough track. I think that perfect lap is there, but hooking every section up is easy said than done by the looks of things under pressure. Totally different scenario.
Yeah, I definitely felt it this evening. Obviously, being one of the first races I've done this season, and especially on my wheel, you can definitely feel a lot more pressure than in practice. But we are about to get under the way. The rain looks like it's fell here at Oschersleben, and we've got a full grid of cars. Feel free to comment who you think is going to take this one, guys. What are you thinking for this one? Obviously, our sprint race top 5 guys are starting at the back. Do you think Girino or one of the Pro Boys are about to get away? Or is a tactical pit stop going to be the winner this evening, Hero?
I think, like you say, I think it's anyone's guess who could take the win. I think strategy's going to play its part, but I think it's all going to come down to who can keep it on the black stuff for the longest and can be the most consistent. I think it's anybody's guess.
Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. The puddles like to build up in very bad places around this track, mainly in braking zones, the last corner and first corner.
10-4, the double left-hander, especially on the inside, right on the apex, can be an absolute killer.
Yeah, so obviously these drivers are going to have to take that into account as the rain begins to fall heavy. And every lap's going to be different for these drivers. So it's going to be 18 laps of action here at Oschersleben, guys. If you have just joined us, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and join our Discord server. You could be on the grid for next week. And we are about to get underway. How come so many of them have pro as a prefix now? Is that because they are professional drivers? It is a team within Motive Racing, so a group of guys that were originally a team have decided to come over to Motive and race. You yourself, Hero, let's have a chat about, well, when this race gets underway, let's have a chat about pro and what pro is. And we are sinking, we are about to go racing, guys. The lights are about to go green here at Oschersleben. Our drivers are on the way into turn 1, they shall head. I'll leave it to you, mate. You can get these drivers around the first few laps.
And we've got a bit of side-by-side action going into the first corner. It looks like Fubby has edged into the lead. However, I can't quite see. There we go. So Fubby leads into the first corner. Side-by-side action looks like everyone's behaving themselves so far. Everyone's took it nice and easy. And we've got someone has span out there on the inside.
I think that was.
It's Ayatella by the looks of things.
I think that was Pro
round.
Andy actually.
Pro Andy down from 3rd place to the foot of the grid. Got side by side action here from Eltel.
That's Ginetta that span there, ladies and gentlemen. Our pole sitter has span on the first lap. So these wet conditions already make an effect.
Let's flick back up to the top of the screen as it's quite close here between 1st and 2nd. Fubby's managed to get a little bit of a lead. However, Olimar is right on his tail. Managed to hang on for the first half a lap or so. And it looks like, is that Pro Alpha has spun from 3rd? Well, Andy again, it's Andy. No, it's not Andy, it was Alpha. Alpha spun out there, he was in 3rd place, and he has gone down to 13th.
Oh, we're 3 wide.
Bit of a wild start. 3 wide going into the final chicane.
And the early G looks like he's moving up to 11th position already, trying to make another overtake. That's Ginetta, I think he's going past there.
It's an excellent start, all things considered.
Yeah, so obviously let's have a little talk about Pro. Yep. So as we were saying, Pro is a team that's come over to Motive and want to make an impression and let everyone know what the team's about. So obviously, as far as I know, Pro's been going for about 12 years, is it?
Yeah, it's something like that. But if Fubby is the main man of Pro, I'd say main man, he's probably the most original member of the team. We started racing on the PlayStation 3 on Grid, everyone's favourite non-simulating racing game. Bit of arcade, bit of fun. But we did a league on there called Redline Racing. There was multiple people, not too far off the fan base of currently of what Motive's got going at the moment in our sign-up space. We'd have 3-4 lobbies every week doing touring cars and GT races, and everyone would have their own little team assigned. From there, we just, like I say, every week we'd just be battling out, doing qualifying on a Saturday afternoon, practicing all week, and people would just sort of form little allegiances and little alliances that just built, and Pros kind of just stuck around.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Like
obviously, I think.
Won't go away.
I think at first we had Pro Alpha and Pro Fubby, and then you and Piston have come over for this season. I think that's how it's gone here.
Yes, I haven't raced myself for number of years. I used to race every weekend. I was never have anything to do with cars, but sadly life got in the way, jobs and things that just kind of put it all on the back burner. But looking forward to getting something started with Motive Racing, as it's good competition, good little setup going on with the different tracks, different cars, drivers of different ability. Gives you lots to think about, and it's great fun. Anyone that's looking to get into it should seriously consider coming over, because it's really accepting. All the guys are great fun, and you can really learn something and have a good laugh.
Yeah, like you say, we are on the way up as Olimar there just runs a bit wide into the first corner. Yeah. Stefano all over the back of him now. Unfortunately, he gets loose himself, takes Falgast out, so just sliding there into the third corner.
Let's see how the guys behind are going to manage this. Can they lose any more places? Will they be able to hold position? Lights being flashed there by Seb. It's pretty gritty stuff here by the looks of things in Tier 1 feature race.
Yeah, obviously.
Everyone seems to be having a bit of trouble.
Seb has gone again. Brilliant qualifying session from Seb, but it doesn't look like he's got the consistency at the moment. We do have 3 cars in the pits, so 9th, 10th and 11th all in the pits. Pro Andy there just coming out now. Someone else is going to go past him. We heard him there come through, so that was Pro Smithy, I think, and Motoring Morgan. Motoring Morgan obviously unable to qualify due to that brilliant sprint race, finishing 2nd. And I think Pro the only G's.
A little bit wide there.
So yeah, as you were saying, obviously Pro's come over to race here at Motive as a group of friends, and let's talk a bit more about you. So obviously, being new to commentating, what's your favourite sort of motorsport to watch or go and see live?
Well, if I was to watch motorsport, it's got to be the British Touring Cars. I just think it's just, like I say, so closely contested, and it's obviously teams have different setups, different styles of cars, but for the most part, it's a lot of just drivability, a bit of grit, and I like just like the general competitive nature. Don't mind a bit of Formula One, as everyone mostly does. Been to a few races over the past few years, and got far too drunk on many occasions whilst there. So some of their memories of them races are a little bit hazy, but nonetheless, I would definitely go to a race every year if I could. And like you say, I'm just kind of a jack of all trades really with the racing. I do like the DTMs as well in Germany is a big favourite of mine as well. Watched them growing up as a kid. Big Opel guy, even though they're obviously not nowhere where they used to be. But like I say, anything with tyres and an engine, I'll certainly give a go. Except for lawnmower racing, none of that farming simulator nonsense that gets talked about.
So comment there, what's the average pit stop time in and out? So these drivers are they are having to change a pair of tyres this evening for the feature race. So I think mine took about 13 seconds to change 2 tyres, and then that's without driving in and out with your pit limiter on. So I reckon it's going to be about 30 seconds in, or maybe a little bit more. But yeah, obviously motorsport's motorsport. You don't really mind what you watch. I like watching British touring cars with bumper to bumper action. Obviously Knockhill's a big one, isn't it? And the cars, they're sliding. It looks like Ollie Lamar was that. I think getting sideways. Yeah, I think it was,
because he's now side by side with Motor and Morgan, is it?
Yeah, it is. So those two obviously were teammates up until this evening. Unfortunately, Ollie Moore, as we said in the sprint race, moving on to other championships, trying to get his name out there as well. And it looks like Motor and Morgan obviously focusing on these GT5s, keeping very consistent at the moment. We saw him finish second in the sprint race. He's moved up to 7th already. The only G just behind him now, battling with Ollie Moore as they come towards the back straight. You can see that spray. This track is soaking already. We've got 12 laps to go. 14 laps, sorry.
Let's have a little skip up the top and see how getting on, because it's looking a little bit like Altel is holding his own here in second place.
Yeah, he's got Pro Fubby 7 seconds up the road.
And then you've got Falguest just behind. Let's skip to a more appropriate angle so we can see a little bit of that going on. Putting him under some severe pressure going into the double left-hander. Just hanging on there. Always ran a little bit wide as get Falguest. That's the thing with these cars, even with the wet tyres on, the puddles that build up just tend to throw your car out wide. I've really struggled with that in the qualifying session myself. Just couldn't put that lap together that you need, because you've got one eye on the puddles, one eye on your apex, one eye on your red limiter, making sure that you're not going to spin out and putting too much power on. A lot to think about.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you being on that controller as well, you're not feeling where the grip is and when you're going to spin out. So obviously, now you've got that wheel this evening, you're gonna be flying, mate.
So I've got to give credit to the guys on the wheel that are going around as well as they are, because I've tried to do a couple of laps this evening, and I'll tell you now, it has not gone well. It's not gone well. It's gone well down the main street, that's about it. Falguest, they're going for a little bit of a bumpy ride. They're going into the final corner. And it looks like he's coming under a little bit of pressure now from
He's just let Pro Alpha there.
No.
Very kind there. Obviously, Falguest knew he made that mistake and has given the position up to Pro Alpha as they head down into the turn 1 on lap 6 of this feature race. Ladies and gentlemen, you are live here at Motive Racing with Pro Badger and Pro Hero. Feel free to leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think is going to take this one.
So you just got to throw a little mention out. No bias intended to Pro Alpha, as I feel like he's really holding his own here in Tier 1 after a little bit of a boost from last week's event around Brands Hatch. He seems to be really being able to mix it with the big dogs in the top tier. He's driving out of his skin by the looks of things.
Yeah, he's definitely put the practice in for this evening's race, and he's showing it.
Another man on the controller as well, having to brave them tricky conditions and try and stay as consistent as possible.
Yeah, so it's I still can't remember who's father and son, but Fubby's on a wheel and Alpha's on a controller, isn't he?
Alpha's the young pup of the household in the Fubby household.
There we go then. Full be
I'm not
showing
sure
the
if it's
way.
a compliment to one or an insult to the other. I'll have to ask them after the race. Fubby
Yeah.
seems to be keeping himself out of trouble.
Yeah, it looks like he's
Once he
pulling
took that
away.
lead, he's kind of just kept himself in his own, cars on rails. Yet
So
to see him pit. Am I right in saying that? He hasn't pitted yet, has he? I don't
no,
think.
I think our first pitter at the moment is Pro Andy, I think. But I don't know about that at the moment. Obviously, we're only 6 laps in, so at the moment it's hard to judge whether these drivers have gone for an early pit tactic and wanting to get into some fresh air and try and catch up. But we'll definitely try and keep an eye on it when it's more established throughout the race. There is a comment. So what are you guys going to do about the names now? The first 3 letters, you don't know who is where. Well, that's part of the game. We're playing a guessing game now with the pro racing team now becoming a little bit of a bigger community. So we're playing a bit of a guessing game. Obviously we know Profobby's winning this race at the moment. Alpha's in 3rd. I think it's Andy in 5th. Or Smithy,
Let's
one
have
of
a
the
little
two.
look. We'll cycle through for the benefit of everyone else. So we've got Fubby leading, and he's out in front, and then you've got Alpha, who's having a bit of a battle here
Is that
with
foul
Foul
guest?
Guested. A little bit of a elbows out move there from Foul, but he moves up into 3rd place. Alpha's now under pressure from
Pro
into 3rd
Smithy.
place. Sorry, he's now under pressure from Smithy, who's no, he's not.
No, he's
What am I-
not.
what
So
am
that
I-
might have
what
been
am
that
I-
might have been a lapped car there, then, ladies and gentlemen.
It
Sorry
must
about
have
that.
been. It must have been because there was a.
Yeah, there's a car just behind him there. So
No, it's the-
that's
yeah,
that's
so-
Giorino's
look at
paint job I
this.
can see there behind. Giorino's had an
Yeah, I'm
absolute
getting confused.
nightmare
Alpha
at the
takes a
moment.
lunge up the inside. It's a hell of a move under pressure, under brakes, back end flying out. Is he going to hold it? No, both cars have touched.
Obviously, these guys pushing to the absolute limits, and there is a lot of puddles and obviously not the grippiest track at the moment here at Oschersleben. But Giorino is in between that battle at the moment. As I was saying, he's had an absolute nightmare of a feature race. Qualified on the front row and is down in 15th.
I say how easy it is to rise and fall. Looks like Foul Guest's actually moved over there, and has he given the place back?
It looks like
So
he has,
Alpha,
yeah.
looks like he has. I think he's accepted there was a little bit of a robust move going on and give that place back.
So yeah,
a
5th
little
position we
flip.
have got Pro Smithy after we just watched
Yeah.
that battle. 6th I think is Kurt Hodgson just in the background of your picture, battling out with
Okay.
Motoring Morgan. Motoring Morgan's our first car that was starting at the back of the grid. Obviously the top 5 from the sprint race unable to qualify for this one, so Motoring Morgan's leading that little pack at the moment as they come
Just
down
on
to
the
the
back of
first
them, I
wheel.
think you've got Only G is closing in
Yeah.
to put them under a little bit more pressure. He seems to be slowly working his way up the order after an early pit stop.
Motoring Morgan's going up the inside now of Kurt Hodgson as they go around the 3rd corner. Someone span there just at the side of your picture. I don't know who that is. It might have been Ollie Moore. It does look like the same livery.
Some terrific battles going on up and down the field here. Some great driving here from Hodgson and Moser and Morgan. Wheel to wheel. What you like to see.
Yeah, so on your screen, mate, it will show next to everyone's, next to the standings on the left, a triangle with an exclamation mark, and that's if there's a battle going on with that driver.
Right.
So our 2nd place driver, there we go, he's in the pits at the moment. Falgas still battling out with Pro Alpha as they come towards the end of lap 9. Oh no, lap 8, sorry.
I'd say still a long way to go and no quarter given by any of the drivers. Every position that's being fought for is being fought for, looks like fairly anyway.
Yeah, these drivers showing a lot of respect to each other. Obviously Falgas trying to intimidate Pro Alpha into turn 1, moving all over the track, but these boys, as we see, showing a lot of confidence with each other and fair racing.
I think that's one thing you can expect from motor racing as a whole. Everyone's here for a love of motorsport, so everyone wants to have as much fun as possible, but be as competitive as possible as well. So there's a lot of respect between all the drivers, no matter whether people are in different teams or are racing different disciplines, everyone's got the same outcome, and that's to race fair, race hard, and go for the best results they can. And you say it's all you can ask for, really, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, you're not wrong. Obviously, we have got over 200 members now in the Discord server, and we're still rising. We have got 7 championships going on, so feel free to subscribe if you are watching and new to this. We are on Project Cars 2 on PlayStation 4. We are going to be live again tomorrow for the GT3 Championship at Donington Park. That's going to be with JR Lock and Load, our league coordinator for that, at 5 PM. Then at 7 PM, we are going to be back live for the LMP2 Championship. That's going to be the Tier 2s at 7 o'clock again, and the Tier 1s at 8 o'clock. On Sunday at 8 PM, the USA Championship's going to carry on for round 2, and then back to Monday we're going to start round 3, week 3 as well, with the GTEs, and on Tuesday we're going to have the Clios back again. What's your personal favourite out of motive to race then, Hero?
See, at the moment, I'll be honest with you, I do like the Clios. I think they're just great cars. You can just rag them around, really, can't you? Just right on the limit. Pretty much everyone's on a similar sort of pace, and you can be really door to door with them being front wheel drive. You see Alpha there, we're getting them really out of shape going into the first corner, and once again Falgues managed to sneak his way through. I think these two have changed positions about 4 or 5 times in the past 4 laps. It's getting feisty.
Yeah, like you say about those Clios, you can throw them round. But last season,
definitely.
I was on a controller as well, and once you get that wheel set up, mate, you'll definitely have to change your tactics massively.
Oh, most definitely.
I'm struggling in those Clios at the moment, but like you say, it's all about the practice that makes perfect.
Yep, most definitely. Like you say, I think, although in my case, I don't know whether anyone spectated Tier 2 Clio race from Sugo the other day. I put into me slicks on the back and wets on the front, and did a whole race like that, thinking I was on wet tyres. So I wouldn't recommend doing that going forward in a wet race. In the Clios doesn't work out, not one bit.
Well, you made it work. You made it work. I think. Where did you finish? 5th, maybe.
5th. It was 5th place, which was a surprise to me.
Well, at least
I
you
think
didn't.
it was a surprise to everyone else as well, given the fact they spent most of the track sideways.
At least you didn't run the car on all slicks in this sort of weather.
Oh no, like I say, I don't think it's not an option, especially in cars like this. It's hard enough to get them to stay on the tarmac as it is. As you see Alpha going into the pits there, Falgues gets a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah,
and
maybe
a little
Alpha.
flick down the field and
very
see how
tactical.
everyone's faring up.
Maybe tactical there from Alpha. Might be thinking he's getting held up, but he has got a speeding penalty in the pit, so that's a 10-second penalty from Alpha. Very unfortunate there, just not engaged his pit limiter fast enough. But comments from Martin Davidson, you might know him, Hero, but he has said, "Is the commentator a robot?" Sounds like one.
Me? I'm not a robot. Just nervous amateur.
Yeah, he is new to commentating this evening, but like I say, we're glad to have him here, racing in Tier 2, showing some brilliant pace, and glad to have him here at Motive Racing to help out as we rise throughout the ranks of Project Car Sim Racing.
Yeah, like as you say, it's I thought when I first jumped into the commentating booth it would be quite straightforward, but it's not as easy as it looks, guys. I'm sure if you give it a go, you'll see for yourself. It's trying to coordinate yourself is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, knowing what's going on track and changing camera angles is quite a task for us men.
Just trying to learn my buttons as well.
Yeah, Pro Fubby's still out in front. He's back in the pit, so on the bottom, mate, on the right hand side it says map, so we can put the track map up now and see where Pro Fubby's going to come out, our race leader at the moment, where he's going to come out to anyone that's pitted. I think ALTEL, if we jump on board of him, and then we can see he's 40 seconds back at the moment in sector 2, about to come through the chicane. You can see there, ladies and gentlemen, on the right of your picture, our race leader in the pits. He's going to stop shortly, and we're on board with, I think, our race leader after everyone's pitted, and he comes towards sector 3 down the long back straight. Is Pro Fubby going to come out in the lead? I think he is, because he has shown a lot of pace and consistency this evening in the feature race. He has got a battle going on behind him though, ALTL. I think it's 3 drivers behind him. And just keeping an eye on Fubby. Fubby's still, isn't he? He's going now. He's got
just
going.
Moving now.
This is going to be very close. Is he going to come out behind that 3-car battle? I think it is behind ALTL. It is a 3-car battle. I just saw there at the back of the picture. Now Fubby's going to be able to disengage that pit limiter. Someone's spanning the background of the picture. So Fubby's off into turn 1. And he comes out just in front, I think, of ALTL. Yeah, he does so.
Yes,
3 seconds the gap is now, so Fubby, an absolutely brilliant timed pit stop there. And Falguest still yet to pit, as well as Pro Alpha. No, Pro Andy is that in second position. Pro Smithy. So them pair are the only ones still yet to pit, I think, with only 6 laps to go. So I think these boys are going to try and take it tactically and maybe get some fresh tyres on for the end of the race and try and push as it gets wetter and the puddles get larger. Very clean driving there. Someone must have got lapped, and we have a crash in the 4th corner. Alpha, and I think that's the only G involved in that one. So teammates clash, and Alpha manages to get going. The only G just behind him.
I think there'll be some inquiries there between the lads after the race as to what's happened there. Sure, they'll be able to sort that out between them. Both fair competitors.
And a comment there from Sebastian. Our race leader is 4th. Yeah, so Sebastian, I'm sure you know what the rule is here at Motive. Obviously you helped to create this, and we're glad you did, so this is going to keep rising. We've got over 200 members, as I say, but he is currently in 2nd now. Obviously Falguest yet to pit. We do have a mandatory pit on, so Falguest 15 seconds out in front, and I think he is going to lose quite a lot of positions after he comes out from his pit stop. We're on board with 5th position at the moment, as he's about to start lap 13 of this race out of 18.
Let's see what sort of times people are hitting. Last lap 151, 147. Falguest quite far behind on lap times compared to the blokes behind him. You've got Fubby there who's on his out lap still.
Set the fastest lap of the race at the moment on 1:43.9, so he's got quite a lot of pace, but unfortunately inconsistent. He did start on pole.
It just shows, like you say, even there 148, but down in 13th for Giorino is just goes to show you that, like you say, pace isn't everything you need all around tracks like this. You've got to keep it going around the track. If you're not facing the right way every other lap, then that's curtains.
Yeah, so a comment there, is there a Pro and Am championship going on? No, so we have got, as I said earlier on the stream, we have got a community of drivers who are in a team that have joined us here at Motive. We're glad to have them here, and it isn't Pro Am, it means Precision Racing Opposition. Is that right, Hero?
Pure racing opposition.
There we go. So yeah, that is a team. Like we say, we are happy to have teams here. We could maybe set up a special event between different teams. Like you said before, you did have team racing going on in different games, and hopefully we can bring that over to Motive. As it would definitely be something to look forward to in the near future.
I hope it doesn't look like there's any bias going on in the commentary booth there from swapping drivers. Just keeps popping up. There's a little bit of a battle going on between the drivers who all coincidentally have Pro in front of their names.
Yeah,
I try and keep it as entertaining as possible for you.
Five Pro drivers I think we have this evening. So the team, I've done a lot of practice, and I think it's showing, but at the moment we have Pro Alpha, I think, no, Pro Fubby, sorry, leading the race after his pit stop. Obviously Falguest still yet to pit, and we are on board with our sprint race winner, Pro the only G, coming around the first corner on lap 14 of this race, ladies and gentlemen. And a comment there from Gerard again, not gonna lie, but who uses clan tags like that anymore? Well, it is it's part of representing, I guess. Yeah, if you I'm happy to represent if if I want to, then I'm happy to. But if you don't want to be part of a team, then mate, that's fine. All the other drivers I don't think are part of a team here at Motive. But yeah, it's definitely something good, I think, in the community. Obviously, a lot of practice done together, a lot of community base. I think Sebas has just spun off there after the third corner.
Another mistake. You say he's on good pace, but just can't seem to keep it on the track at the minute. There's Kurt's having another battle by the looks of things. Keeps coming up next to Kurt, but he's having a bit of a wild race, and he's hanging on there to the back of Motor and Morgan, who's then ran really consistently in this race.
Yeah, managed to get himself up to 4th. Came 2nd in the sprint race, so yeah, like you say, very consistent.
Certainly got the knack around here. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact.
Yeah, and these Tier 1 boys do run full damage. So any mistakes, obviously, in this wet weather will have consequences.
So I don't think you want to damage suspension in these cars around this corner. They're tough enough as it is. And so I think going back to the clan tag sort of thing, I think it makes for nice competition. I think if another team was to come in and sort of start rivaling and having little battles here and there, I think it just looks quite good. I think if everyone drove for individual drivers, it looks good, but it's nice to have that bit of unity and to be chilling with your friends and stuff and making a little deal of it. I don't think any of us are going to be professional racing drivers any soon, so it's nice to have a bit of fun, even if it is once a week.
Yeah, like I say, it's even just like in this race this evening, we do have a Constructors' Championship, 4 teams. Like we announced earlier on, we did find out that Motoring Morgan has parted ways with his teammate this evening, Ollie Moore. Obviously, Motoring Morgan wanting to concentrate on just the GT5s as a team, and Ollie Moore wanting to open his ways. There's someone else there just spins in the background, but like we say, we have got team championships, so liveries. So yeah, it's one thing we're happy to have here at Motive. Anyone else willing to bring a team into Motive, we can start a team championship, possibly in the near future, and get the fastest boys against the fastest boys or girls.
We live in an equal society, Badger. Don't forget that.
It's not only boys or girls at the moment, is it, mate?
I identify as a broom, so maybe you've got the fastest broom in the whole of motor racing online.
Well, I'm a badger, apparently, so there you go.
Aside the competition. Boom, there you go. You can keep that one.
Yes,
God, I'll never forgive myself for recording this live. Never.
So, lap 16, ladies and gentlemen. Falgas still yet to pit, so he's going to have to do it soon if he's not wanting to get a disqualification, as he's in sector 2.
He's running consistently enough, though, isn't he? Like I say, as long as he's keeping it on the track, I think he could find himself higher up the pecking order. What is it, about 35 seconds once you're in and out the pit?
So just in the top 10.
I think he'll be pleasantly surprised. Like you say, that's if everybody's able to keep it on the track as well. There's still a chance that people could make mistakes, where he could gain a little bit more time.
Well, yeah, like we saw in the Tier 2 race, just one little spin and you're losing 10 seconds or even more.
Oh, comfortably. Like you say, I think the wet conditions won't help, because once you're on that grass, it's just trying to get the traction is just nightmare, absolute nightmare.
I was about to read a comment there from Seb again. Does Andy learn how to turn left yet? We saw him there going through the triple left-hander. Very consistent race from himself, sat in 9th position, no damage at all on that car, it looks, so I'd be very happy with that from Andy. Obviously unable to do too much practice due to being a key worker, and he's definitely doing well this evening. Someone else span there as well, and it might have been Malik, I think it was. Only it was a lapped car, Andy's still in 9th position.
Everyone seems to have settled down into a bit of a rhythm now, although we have got a little bit of a battle here between Sebas and Malik. Still getting used to everyone's names, hope you don't mind. Heads by the slight hesitation and flicking through the numbers. So these boys going straight to the end here. Like, we've both had the pit stop, both had a few little scars on the cars, but grinding it out.
Someone there
Even
in the
using a little bit of extra there. Sure, like
Sebastefano,
that slide.
straight line in it, yeah. And coming onto the back straight, it might be side by side now. Sebastefano getting the run, so quite unsportsmanlike there from Sebastefano, straight line in the chicane. But obviously these replays will be saved, and we hope to trust these boys to not cut corners. And we will be looking into it. Thank you for the comments, Bowie, there. Obviously we do have brilliant marshals here at Motive, and it will be sorted tomorrow. Penalties will be given. Obviously we want to create the best sim racing we can, and that's why we haven't got track limits on for this race. You're unable to go side by side in corners due to the race marshal giving penalties out left, right and centre, and it just doesn't create competitive racing. So Falguest, our race leader at the moment in the pits. It is going to be Pro Fubby though, who is going to take the race lead.
Say it's close here between these two. Motor and Morgan, and LTL just again nose to tail, with a few back markers by the looks of things to come up 2 tickets 10 with as well, which is going to make things interesting going into this first going up.
Yeah, looks like it's I recognise the livery of Ollie, and we've got a black and red. That might be, no, it's not Pro Andy. Pro Andy's teammate possibly, or is it Pro Andy? As they come around the first corner.
And
both of them are span motoring
on the
walking.
inside.
Yeah, so obviously the inside, we have seen that line not being used all night because of that puddle building up. And is that Pro Alpha making up
It is, yeah. It looks like Kate Hodgin and Alpha by the looks of it. Oh, is it
taking
Fubby?
advantage of that.
Fubby up its third, so Smithy is still out there. Is Smithy leading the race? I don't think anyone was expecting to pop up and see him up there.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying, around 13 seconds in front now, so I can't remember if I've seen him in the pits, but this late on the race I reckon he has. But yeah, he's absolutely flying. We haven't seen too much practice from Smith. He obviously took part in the snooker championships this morning with Gypsy George, and Smithy very proud to make Gypsy George rage quit in that one. And he's definitely showing these boys how it's done as he comes round the second to last corner here at Oschersleben. He is going to take the feature win. Any words, Hero?
I say, I think he's kept his head down. He's done himself proud here by the looks of things. Not a scratch on that car, and he's bought it home. Let's just hope he's been in the pits coming across the line. Pro Smithy takes the feature race win.
We're in second. Kurt Hodgson 16 seconds back. It does look like he might have a battle. I know it's a little bit too late now. It looks Motor and Morgan just going wide there at the second to last corner, but Kurt Hodgson looks like a very consistent drive from himself to finish second, and then Pro Alpha comes away with third. Motor and Morgan just behind him.
A few cars coming across the line really close together. A little bit
Pro
of a battle
Andy
from Pro Andy.
In ninth, he's got Falguest just in front of him.
Few people contesting the final few positions here down on the field. By the looks of things, it looks like Falguest is going to come home to take 8th after a strong run on them tyres late on into the race. Andy comes home in 9th,
and then H2 Malik coming through. Whoa, straight line in the chicane there. Obviously that's
Paid
not going to work, is it? Yeah. So we are going to try and get our top 3 in the commentating booth. We've got Pro Smithy. Was that Pro Alpha, I think, came third. Yeah, so which Pro was it that came third? I think it was Alpha, wasn't it? Fubby. That was it. So, Fubby. And yeah, a brilliant race that was, wasn't it, mate? Obviously, a lot of battles going on in this harsh weather.
The added value having to throw that pit stop in there as well, but all in all a really entertaining race, and I think Smithy will be pleased to take the win. Along with Kate, like saying second, drove really well, had a good few door-to-doors with people, and Fubby just, like I say, consistent as ever, seems to be in them top positions week in.
Yeah, we've got Kurt Hodgson, our second place driver. We've got our race winner as well. We're getting those all in the commentating booth this evening, guys. Feel free to leave a comment. We are going to get an interview with each of these now. This is the end of the feature race for round 2 here at Motive Racing. We will speak to our runner-up this evening, Kurt Hodgson. How was that for you in the rain here at Oschersleben this evening, mate? Yeah, brilliant driving, mate. Obviously, the replays will be saved. We are trying to trust these drivers and get the best racing we can, but we did see a few corner cuts, and obviously the stewards can look at that tomorrow. We do have the race winner in here as well. How was that one for you, Smith? He obviously rose up through the grid, and on the last couple of laps, we're in first position.
You're live on stream, Fub.
Yeah, welcome to the commentators booth, Fubby. Obviously,
to the commentary booth, bud.
Right. Well, from your perspective, mate, obviously a very consistent drive from yourself, Fubby. Not too pleased with the game there. It sounds like obviously finishing third. You were out in front the whole race until you took that pit stop. How was the race for you? Obviously, those wet conditions playing a big factor. Yeah, I have saved the replay. Yeah, we were watching that. Apparently, boys, we can't hear you, so just check if your audio's set to share, and we'll carry on this interview. Just go in the party, make sure you've got it to share.
Has it gone?
Go to the party, mate.
Party settings
and audio.
To
audio.
Yeah.
Set it to share. Yeah, apparently no, we can't hear any of them.
No, so we've just had a good interview.
There you go.
Right.
Congratulations there, Smithy.
So let's start again, fellas. Have you done yours, Fubby?
If you go on party settings, and it should always allow your voice to be shared.
So obviously we are joined, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still watching, with our top 3 drivers in the feature race. In third position we had Pro Fubby. So let's talk about from your perspective. Obviously, unfortunately, the game might have glitched there. Very consistent drive out in front all the way till that pit stop. How were the wet conditions for you?
Yeah, no, they were good. It was quite a good little setup. Got a good start. Tore off. Left them behind, really, which I was quite pleased with. So it helped me settle down. Had a tiny little spin, and I don't know what actually happened at the end of there. Why I ended up that far back. But I'll look into it and see what happened. But I was expecting just to come out at least still 10 seconds in the lead. So I don't know.
Did you change all 4 tyres at your pit stop?
No, just the front 2.
Right. It'll be interesting to see what the other guys went with. What about you, Smithy? Did you go for the full set, or did you change 2? Or...
Nah, I just changed the 2 front tyres. I had a spin on the first lap at race, which I was really annoyed about, and then I just thought, let's go for the pit and see what happens. And then I was catching him. I think when I come out the pits, I was 50 or 6 seconds behind him, and then lap by lap, I was catching Fubby in. I was in the 46 to 47th lap after lap, and then as soon as he pitted with 43 seconds, I knew it was going to be close, and then I came up 3 seconds ahead of him, and then I knew I had the win if I kept everything solid, which I was really happy about. So let's go.
You pulled it out the bag, mate, because I think me and Badger were talking and flicking through the itinerary and seeing who was where, and we were half expecting to see Fubby's name as the top pro guy there in the lead, and there you were, just chilling, cruising around, not a care in the world, and it was a surprise to all of us.
Yeah, and I think the first race was an absolute disaster. I've been trying all week for setup after setup. After 5 laps, my setting's rubbish. So that race was awful, and I knew with a wet race I was somewhere there or thereabouts, so I was happy.
Did yourself proud.
Yeah, and obviously,
just for the pro boys, that one was for.
Kurt Hodgson, obviously, how was that one for you coming in second? Quite a bit of pressure coming from Morgan towards the end, so how was that for you? Obviously, the puddles getting worse and worse throughout the race.
Yeah, it was great. First of all, I just want to thank the fans here at the track. They've kept through the poor weather conditions, and they're still cheering us on. It was a tough race, you know, from the start. Just making sure I kept it clean into turn 1, but still being aggressive. There are plenty of moves to dodge, that's for sure. Then just keeping a good pace. As soon as I was getting held up by the mid-pack there that were just fighting, I was straight in the pits, get some clear air, put in some more laps. Almost jumped Morgan and managed to get past him, but then he came back after a couple of small mistakes in the puddles. Pushed past me a little bit, which might have been a bit too far, we'll see what the stewards have to say about that. But then I was just keeping my head down, making sure I didn't make too many mistakes, push on to the end, and then Ailtel and Morgan on the last lap had it coming together, so that was free P2. I was really, really happy with it.
Yeah, well done, mate. Obviously, like you say, you've got a couple of fans out there. Need for Madness race team you're in, you're going to represent tomorrow in the GT3s, so we wish you the best of luck for that. Any last words, Zero? Obviously, your first night commentating, absolutely brilliant. And
yeah, been great fun. Hopefully do it again, and with a bit of advice from the crowd, start sounding less like a robot, and then maybe going forward I might get a bit better at it. But yeah, it's been fun, been good fun.
Yeah, thank you for joining us all on the stream, guys. We hope to see you again tomorrow from 5 PM here for the GT3 Championship. We'll see you later, guys.